Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got a fresh story to share, so let's dive right in. The young prosecutor stood straightening his tie before declaring, "The prosecution calls Mr. Reginald Smee to the stand." A man who looked no older than 30 shuffled toward the witness stand, leaning on a walker whose wheels squeaked with every step. The court clerk handed him a Bible and instructed, "Please state your full name." Placing his hand on the Bible, he announced in a surprisingly high-pitched voice, "I am Reginald Smee III," emphasizing the last part as though it held great importance. "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?" "I do," Reginald squeaked. "Please be seated," the clerk said. He awkwardly lowered himself into the chair, visibly uncomfortable on the hard surface. The prosecutor cleared his throat. "Mr. Smee, can you describe how you sustained your injuries?" Reginald took a deep breath. "I was visiting Mrs. Tammy Harris when her husband, the defendant, approached me. He told me to cover my face and heart." The prosecutor nodded sympathetically. "Take your time." After a dramatic pause and a sorrowful glance at the jury, Reginald continued, "Fearing for my life, I obeyed, shielding my face and chest with my hands. Moments later, I heard and felt a shotgun blast." "Did this shot cause you harm?" the prosecutor asked. Reginald's voice trembled. "Yes, it severely injured me, but thankfully my private parts were unharmed." A mix of whispers, chuckles, and gasps filled the courtroom. The prosecutor regained control. "Why do you believe Mr. Harris acted that way toward you?" The defense attorney jumped up. "Objection, calls for speculation." The judge nodded. "Sustained. Counsel, rephrase your question." The prosecutor adjusted his stance. "Mr. Smee, did you in any way provoke Mr. Harris?" Reginald hesitated. "Not that I know of. Tammy had just explained our relationship to him, how we became lovers, how she found pleasure in the way I serviced her." Murmurs erupted, and the gallery buzzed with excitement. "She told him," Reginald continued, "that from now on he wouldn't get any intimacy from her without my consent. She even invited him to watch us, though he couldn't participate." "Where was Mrs. Harris when he threatened you?" the prosecutor asked. "On the stairs, crying in pain. Did you witness what happened to her?" "Sort of," Reginald replied, pressing a hand to his chest. "I heard Mr. Harris tell her to stay still or he'd fill her backside with duckshot. Then came the shot. When I looked, it was clear he'd followed through." "Did Mrs. Harris survive?" "Yes, he only shot her in the rear." "And after that, did he turn his attention back to you?" Reginald nodded. "Yes. He repeated his demand, asking if I chose to live or die. When I lowered my hand to see what had happened to Tammy, he aimed at me." "At any point did the defendant appear out of control or irrational?" "No, he was perfectly calm the entire time." The prosecutor turned to the judge. "No further questions, Your Honor." The judge addressed the defense. "Your witness." The defense attorney stood, adjusting his suit jacket. "Mr. Smee, have you always had such a squeaky voice, like that famous amusement park mouse?" Reginald bristled. "No, my voice was normal until this defendant attacked me." "And yet, as your testimony shows, the shot did not damage your instrument." Reginald's face flushed. "It's not little. I'm a bull." His high-pitched voice cracked as he shouted, sparking another wave of amusement in the courtroom. The judge banged his gavel. "Mr. Smee, control yourself." The defense attorney smirked. "Could you explain to the jury what it means to be a bull?" Reginald shot him a venomous glare. "I satisfy women who don't get enough from their husbands or boyfriends." "And these men, are they okay with this arrangement?" "Not always, but I'm an alpha-dominant male. I take what I want." "So you were a bull for Mrs. Harris too?" Reginald puffed out his chest. "Yes." A commotion rose again, silenced only by the judge's gavel. The defense attorney continued. "Now, as an alpha-dominant male, according to the police report, did you immediately soil yourself?" Laughter broke out. Even the judge struggled to suppress a smirk. Reginald's face turned crimson. I was terrified for my life. Was it urine, sweat, or both? Did it help you cope with fear? Go to hell, Reginald shrieked, leaping up. The judge slammed the gavel. Mr. SMI, another outburst and you'll be held in contempt of court. Do you understand? Reginald sank back into his seat, glaring. Yes, Your Honor. The defense attorney nodded. Thank you for your honesty. Now, given that Mr. Harris remained composed and in control during the incident, would you say that in that moment he was the dominant one, while you were not? Reginald stiffened. He had a weapon. Being a dominant male only applies when the other person is unarmed. No? So you're still the dominant one? In your own mind? The lawyer quipped. He flipped to another page. According to the report, only your legs were injured. I thought a bull could ignore pain. Reginald's nostrils flared. Oh, shut! He caught himself just in time, swallowing the insult before it earned him another reprimand. The defense attorney offered a sly smile. Was your face covered when Merle ordered Tammy to stand still? Reginald shifted uncomfortably before muttering, Yes. So you didn't actually see how the shotgun accidentally discharged? The lawyer's grin widened. Reginald barely swallowed his frustration. No, I didn't see it. I see. And didn't you say you were covering your face with your hand when the gun fired, hitting you somewhere below the waist? Yes, I covered my eyes with my palm. Which means, in reality, you never saw my client pull the trigger, the lawyer said, his tone light, almost teasing. Reginald's forehead creased with anger, veins bulging. No. So, isn't it possible that Merle lowered the gun and it accidentally discharged? No! When I felt the pain, my hands immediately went to my groin, and I saw Merle standing there with the shotgun still smoking, grinning like an idiot. Reginald snapped. The defense attorney calmly flipped through his papers. And, just to point out, you don't have proof of anything. He paced, then glanced up. According to the police report, it states that you also soiled yourself. Scattered chuckles rippled through the gallery. Was that before or after the shotgun discharged? Reginald's jaw tightened. I don't remember. The defense attorney returned to his seat, mimicking the high-pitched squeak of a famous cartoon mouse. The gallery erupted into laughter, with several spectators attempting their own imitations as Reginald struggled to his feet and wheeled his walker toward the back of the courtroom. The young prosecutor stood. The prosecution calls Mrs. Tammy Harris to the stand. A woman of pear-shaped proportions hobbled forward, leaning heavily on a cane. The court clerk presented the Bible. Please state your name. Tammy placed her hand on the book, her voice a sultry whisper. Tammy Harris. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Please be seated. Tammy eased herself into the creaking chair, her knees pressed together. Her conservative dress did little to temper the knowing looks exchanged in the courtroom. Mrs. Harris, were you present during the shooting involving Mr. Reginald SMI? The prosecutor began. Yes, he was there to provide moral support while I explained to Merle that Reginald was now the dominant man in my life. Did the defendant act irrationally at first? No, he didn't say anything. He just ran down the stairs and walked out the front door. Mr. SMI claimed he helped you pack. Is that true? Yes, as a woman with certain qualities, I intended to spend the weekend with him. Gasps, murmurs, and chuckles filled the room, but the judge did not intervene. And when you were going down the stairs, did you see your husband again? Ex-husband, Tammy corrected. Yes, he was holding a shotgun, pointing one at Reginald and the other at the floor. Did Merle appear unstable? No, he was calm. Then why did he shoot? He told me to stand still, but I got scared and ran up the stairs. That's when he shot me, in the backside. More laughter erupted from the gallery. The defense attorney stood, her heels clicking as she approached Tammy. May I call you Tammy? Tammy pursed her lips. Yes. Tammy, how many shotguns did you and Merle own? None. Then where did he get them so quickly? Our neighbor lent them to him. And how often did Merle practice shooting? Never. So you can't be certain that Merle intentionally shot you and Mr. Sme, but he did, Tammy blurted. Yet you didn't see it happen, did you? I was running when I heard the shot and felt pain. That was the shot that hit you in the backside? Yes. Is it still swollen? The lawyer asked innocently. No! Tammy's furious shout rattled the courtroom. The lawyer smirked. I apologize. I've never met a woman with a bullet wound there before. Was it always that large? Tammy's glare could have burned through steel. Yes. Running up the stairs, could you say with certainty who fired the shot? It was Merle. Did you see him pull the trigger? No, but it was him. But if you didn't see him, the gun could have discharged by accident. No, he shot me deliberately. The lawyer nodded. As you say. Now Reginald testified that you were lying on the stairs, making noises like a wounded duck. Objection, the prosecutor called out. Oh, my apologies, the defense lawyer said smoothly, a smirk on her lips. Tammy, would you describe yourself as passionately moaning on the stairs? I was in pain, Tammy snapped. Fair enough. And did you see Merle pull the trigger when Reginald was shot? No. The lawyer paced. Since Merle isn't skilled with a gun, either you were very close to him or your, ample backside made a rather large target. Objection! Withdrawn, Your Honor, the defense attorney smirked. Tammy seethed, already planning revenge on this insufferable woman. The jury took less than 2 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty, but only on the charge of reckless endangerment. Merle was sentenced to time served while awaiting trial, effectively granting him immediate freedom. As the courtroom buzzed with reactions, a high-pitched voice, suspiciously reminiscent of a certain world-famous mouse, whined about the outrageous injustice of it all. Dear listeners, share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.